Week for Dusty's bullpen, but last night takes the cake. Zimmerman's got it. That's a double play. It's going to be a triple play.
Unbelievable.
The runner from third base came home on the line drive. The Nationals will turn a 3-5 triple play.
Yeah, I saw that coming. Of course.
Beautiful Saturday in San Francisco. Welcome to AT&T Park. Game 3, the Nats are trying to win a series today against a good ball club on the road. So when you come to the stadium, you never know when you might see a little bit of history like we did last night. Or the next day, you find out you have a new closer in your bullpen. Big time addition to the Nats. Mark Melancon comes over from the Pirates.
Yeah, 51 saves last year, 3-time All-Star, 8th in the Cy Young voting last year. And when you look over the last 4 seasons, he leads all of Major League Baseball in saves with 114. An established closer, a guy that we've loved. So now all of a sudden, the Nats make a big move that's shaken up the whole baseball world. Look for the floodgates to follow now with a bunch of more trades.
Yeah, and the other thing is, it takes your bullpen guys, it puts everybody back where they should be, kind of that domino effect, but this time it goes back the good way.
Yeah, and it adds depth. Like when you pick up a bat in the lineup, now all of a sudden your bullpen's deeper. You'll have guys in more familiar roles. Dusty Baker has to love the move that was made today, and we can't wait to see Mark Melancon. I talked to some people from Pittsburgh. They said he's a great guy.
Yeah, goes right after hitters, and we hope so does Reynaldo Lopez today. Big league debut was a bit of a struggle, but he had 9 strikeouts, 6 runs on 10 hits. Number 2, his timeout today. Here we go. By PNC Bank for the achiever in you, and by Airlines for America, where airplanes land, opportunity takes off. Look at this beautiful view, the Masson drone right behind the scoreboard here. on a Saturday afternoon in San Francisco. 62 degrees. Humidity way up there. Nobody cares about that right now. And here comes the Nats lineup. Ben Revere. He's 7 for 21 career against Jake Peavy. And Ben in the leadoff spot last night had a good ball game. A walk, an RBI single, a steal, a run scored. Trey Turner back in there. A couple of exciting guys at the top of the lineup. Pedro Severino will handle Reynaldo Lopez a half inning from right now. And that Jake Peavy doesn't pitch as deep into games as he used to, but this guy is a fierce competitor.
Yeah, stuff not what it was, but he still competes. Last start on the 25th against Cincinnati, received the loss, went 5 innings, gave up 4 earned runs, 6 total. 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, 3 home runs in that one. So fastball, slider, cutter, curveball change, but mostly fastball cutter is what the Nats are going to see here today. Pagan, Blanco, Pence. The outfield, Nunez, Gillespie left side, Panic Belt right side, Buster Posey behind the plate, and Hunter Pence back for the Giants today. He missed 48 games with a strained right hamstring, and he got a big round of applause when he was introduced. The Giants need that guy. They're struggling.
Yeah, they need his offense, his speed, his fire in the clubhouse. Chad Fairchild, 13-year big league veteran, has the plate. Jim Joyce, the crew chief. There he is over there at first base. James Hoy, Marvin Hudson around the bases. I don't know, San Francisco, Wrigley, Fenway, maybe the 3 greatest day game venues in baseball. Here we go. Right in there to Trey Turner. 4:06 Eastern time. Trey in the series 2 for 5. At RBI, a walk, a steal. He's hit safely in 9 of 11 games. How about 10 of 12? Right up the middle it goes. He's now 18 for 53. And Trey Turner's on base percentage is going to go up around 380 with that base hit. What's not to like?
Well, I mean, this has turned into a story in and of itself. This guy's getting it done at the top of the order. There goes the no-hitter. And once again, it's Trey Turner. Now the fun starts. Nice swing, first base hit. And Jake Peavy in immediate high stress mode.
Yeah, 340 now. Turner batting with that base hit. So here's Ben Revere, who can fly right behind him. He'll take one low and inside. That start today, hitting .250, 8th in the league, 4th in runs, 2nd in home runs. Have not hit one in this spacious ballpark in the series so far. Two and oh. Price in that number 3 spot today with Turner and Revere in front of him, and Daniel Murphy on the bench nursing a sore leg. Nothing serious, we think, and we are told he is available to hit today if that situation would come up. Big gap right center. Although Pence plays as far off the line as you can. I'm thinking, why even bother to throw? Trey Turner is 7 for 7, and Buster Posey probably should have just held on to the ball.
Oh, he had such a good jump that he shuffled and went. He didn't trust it and then just said, forget it, I'm going. Watch it shuffle, go. I mean, he didn't need to throw that one. I mean, he was 2 steps from the bag when Buster Posey was just getting rid of it. Trey time.
Now the Nats have 74 steals. And Revere not really a sacrifice effort. He was trying to bunt for a base hit. On his way out of the box with that attempt. Hear the wind whipping through our microphones here early. Revere, a line drive caught by Joe Panik. Tough luck. Ben Revere hit the ball right on the sweet spot.
No, he did his job. He pulled it. Tried to get Trey Turner to third. So good at bat by Ben Revere with no results. He's had a lot of hang with him this year. And how about Jake Peavy with runners in scoring position this year? Opponents are hitting 340.
Ouch.
34 for 100. That's the third highest in the National League. So hoping to find a way to get Trey Turner home.
Bryce Harper 3 for 5 against Peavy, who has pitched around him a few times. 4 walks. Turner back in plenty of time. That's Eduardo Nunez, the newest Giants infielder, traded 2 days ago over here from Minnesota. Brandon Crawford has the day off. That'll be an interesting dynamic to keep an eye on. Joe Panik's back in the lineup. Connor Gillespie hitting well at third, and they basically have 2 frontline shortstops. Nunez can play other positions. And ball 1 to Bryce. It's Crawford right next to his teammates in the Giants dugout. San Francisco scuffling. Giants have lost 3 straight, 11 of 13. They are 1 game up on the Dodgers.
Tell you what, you have bases loaded, nobody out, you get into a triple play, your whole ball club starts thinking, man, we are really up against it.
Pop up left field for Bryce Harper. Racing out Nunez in his Pagan, and Trey Turner still parked at second base. Well, remember the last time Anthony Rendon hit cleanup, he did some damage. It had been a while. I don't think he changes much of anything wherever he hits, but he is in the number 4 spot today. The Nats shut out the Pirates on that game 2 weeks ago. Rendon had a base hit and a homer, 2 RBIs, batting cleanup. Strike 1. Looking for his first career hit against Jake Peavy. So if you look at the outfield, they want to pitch Anthony away. Pence fairly deep in right. Blanco well toward right center. Infield straight up on a 1-2 count. Swing and a miss. Down and away, and Rendon couldn't get to it. Trey Turner led off. He was stranded. That's how the Game 3 of this series gets underway. for the Nats, 22-year-old right-hander. The Giants lineup he'll be facing will feature Hunter Pence, whose career against the Nats has been good at times. Out of extra base hits, RBIs, he's just a guy who makes things happen. And the Giants rally around him. 181 at-bats this year, hitting .298 before he strained that right hamstring. He's been out 48 ball games. So here's Lopez, left inning to start his game last time, hopefully settling in early today.
Yeah, with 4 2/3 in his debut on the 19th against the Dodgers, gave up 6 runs on 10 hits, but he struck out 9, settled down nicely. Maybe a little excited, his first major league start. Who isn't? So fastball, curveball changed the arsenal for Ronaldo. The fastball in his first start averaged 96.5 miles an hour.
Strike one to Eduardo Nunez. Got his first Giants at bat last night. Struck out to end the ball game against Sean Kelly. Now he's got his first Giants base hit. He hit .296 in Minnesota and made the All-Star team. And he has very good speed with 27 steals.
Set your defense for the Nats today. Worth, Revere, Harper, the outfield. Espinosa, Rendon, left side. Turner, Zimmerman, right side. And Severino behind the plate.
Yeah, highly thought of catcher in the Nats system. Playing in his 3rd major league game. There's Angel Pagan, hitting .287 left-handed, .289 overall. Nunez stepping out to a nice lead. He's going. Pitch is low, and Severino set himself up for a throw but never got the ball. So Nunez first steal as a Giant.
Pretty good jump by Nunez right here. You know what he's thinking? You know, this ball club's scuffling. I'm the new guy. You lead me off, I'm going to try to inject some life. And you see Pedro Severino maybe peeking a little early, coming out there quick, missed the ball, but I think Nunez had that stolen either way.
Yeah, with Nunez and Pagan top of the lineup, they've got some speed. Giants not much of a running team this year, but Nunez could change that. Now Pagan looking to pull, but he hits the ball a mile high to the left side of the infield. Anthony Rendon using the glove for shade right from contact. 1 out. Jeep takes us inside the numbers. So since the All-Star break, they've lost 11 of 13. Their opponents have outscored them by 23 runs. FP talked about runners in scoring position in the first 2 games of the series. Not good. And maybe this place more of an island than a China Basin right now, because they're stranding everybody. Lots of strikeouts. And the Giants are still 5th in the league in hitting and 6th in runs, so it shows you how well they were going until the break arrived, and they just haven't been able to put hits together. Lopez is a little bit outside to Connor Gillespie, who's had a heck of a series, 4 for 7 with a run batted in.
All the way up to the 3rd spot today for Bruce Bochy's ball club.
He's had 2 hits in each of the games. 4-game hitting streak, 6 for 11.
Thinking about it. It's a nice inside move by Ronaldo. Keeping Nunez close at second base. Now you remember Ronaldo's first start. Threw a lot of fastballs early, and the Dodgers were ready for all of them. And then when he went to his curveball changeup combination second time around, they weren't ready for any of them. Totally different story.
Yeah.
And he also had trouble out of the stretch versus the windup. And we'll see if he's made those adjustments as well.
Yeah, Chase Utley hit that homer to lead off the ball game. Then they had 3 consecutive hits.
And I think the best part about today is that the guy on the mound is on the mound. He's still a national, and he's not involved in any trades.
Yeah, that's good. Good call. We wish Felipe Rivera well. I'm sure the Pirates know they're getting an exciting young arm in him.
Yeah, we're gonna miss him. He was a good nat. We love Felipe. He was the same guy every day, whether he gave up 3 runs or had a shutout inning. He was always in a good mood in the clubhouse. Great guy to be around. And I'm going to stick to what I said. He's going to be a big league closer and make a lot of money in this game.
So congrats to Mike Rizzo and his staff for pulling off that Melanson deal today. 2 balls, 1 strike. I'm sure Dan will have more on that as we go through the afternoon, because the fans are wondering, okay, when do we get him? Is he going to be here tomorrow? Is he going to be in Arizona? The Pirates in Milwaukee this weekend. So that's where he was when informed of the deal.
Well, if he comes here tomorrow, I mean, coming from Milwaukee to San Francisco is not a bad trade either. No offense to Milwaukee, we love it there, but
and I can't wait to see him, a guy who really goes after hitters. There's some off speed from Reynaldo Lopez, so it's okay to show the repertoire the first time around this time.
yeah, get to your off speed. Show him that curveball. Watch this one. Connor Gillespie seeing fastball all the way. And look at pitch track. Did you see that? Everything below the strike zone for Reynaldo. He was elevated with his fastball last time out, so he's down today. Making good pitches, going his off speed a little earlier. Nice pitch.
Buster Posey hitting .285, on base percentage of .359. In this series, 1 for 4 with a walk. That ball is hit pretty well out to right center. Long way for Ben Revere, and he will get there.
Oh.
That is well over 400 feet from home plate. So Triple's alley closed thanks to Ben Revere and that unbelievable speed of his.
How'd he get there? How'd he do this? Ben Revere going a country mile for this one. Flags it down into a roll, saves a run, and that's got to give Reynaldo Lopez confidence. Side of second base, the left field side of second base, goes all the way in the gap. But if you've ever played center field in San Francisco during the day, you have sun, you have wind, you have a high sky, the ball moves on you. So Ben Revere went a long way for that, made an unbelievable play that you'll see a bunch in the highlight reels tonight to save a run and maybe even a triple from Buster Posey.
Yeah.
Did you see that, son? That's how you do it. You take a nice route, make sure you wear your glasses, and then go into a stunt roll after you make it. Yeah, you show him.
Yeah. I could get there, he said.
I think Ben gave him the baseball. That's what I'm being told, yeah.
Worth, Zimmerman, Espinoza, top of the second. 13 pitches, 9 strikes. Jake Peavy giving up the Turner base hit. So here comes Jason Worth. It's a daily thing now, trying to get on base. 32 games in a row, and he was on 3 times last night. Walk, single, double, first 3 times up. At the knees, 1-1. Jake Peavy, 152 wins, 126 career losses. It's his 377th start. 14th against the Nats. He was pretty good against them in the playoffs 2 years ago in D.C.
Look at this. That's good karma right there. Give it to the lefty.
I'm sure Dad said, say thank you. Swing and a miss. That ball gets away. Worth didn't know it right away, and he's going to make it to first base. So Worth gets to first on the strikeout.
Does the streak continue, Bob? Question. I mean to put you on the spot. I don't know. Does the on-base streak continue?
It's like a fielder's choice.
Right.
You make it to first. I don't think that counts.
I mean, it's so rare. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll check it to make sure.
He's on base.
I know.
I mean, I think you're right.
Swing and a foul straight back by Ryan Zimmerman.
Ryan, after the game last night, saying that was the best triple-double switch ever.
I haven't seen Ryan react like that since the night the Nats clinched in 2012. And that was a team thing. This was kind of a Zimmerman Rendon crazy thing. Well, they are telling us via the press box PA system that Jason Worth's going to get credit for getting on base. I think the whole fielder's choice thing is there's an out associated with that. The strikeout and the wild pitch, the ball gets away. And that's inside.
So if he gets to 83 and the record's 84 and he's 0 for 3 and he sees a pitch out with
Swing.
2 strikes, swing and run to first and tie Ted Williams.
Yeah, so because there's not an out associated with the play, Worth does get credit for reaching. Two balls, 2 strikes to Zimmerman. Ryan, career 3 for 17, 2 RBIs against Jake Peavy. That's a good take on 2-2. Right over the plate, but low. Ryan didn't want that. That was a double play pitch waiting to happen. On the move is Worth, and Zimmerman fouls it out of play.
So if you missed it last night, maybe you were asleep. History, the first ever triple play in Nats history, the first ever 3-5 triple play in Major League history. The Giants had bases loaded, nobody out, bottom of the 8th, in a 4-1 ball game, and that's what happened. History.
Yeah, Denard Span was almost home, so all Ryan had to do was lob it over. 3-2 on a pitch up. The right side. Worth is standing halfway, and the ball drops. Can he get to second? No. Hunter Pence will throw him out. That happens here. It's just such a tough play for a base runner. On a 9-6 fly ball, fielder's choice.
Well, it just goes to show you what a good play Ben Revere made. This is the home team, right? Joe Panik's played a million games here, but a day game in San Francisco with the high sky and the wind, it gets gnarly out there. Jason Worth started shuffling back because he saw Panik have a beat on it. And as a base runner, when you see him kind of start to decelerate, slow down, you go, he's got this, I got to get back. I mean, if he stayed there and he caught it, he would have been out. So that was a tough read.
Danny Espinosa in the series, 2 for 5. Part of that triple switch last night. He came off the bench and had a base hit leading off the 9th inning. So Buster Posey took the brunt of that one. Inside the Numbers brought to you by Jeep. So Danny Espinosa, since the start of the Nats' first championship season against the Giants, just great numbers. One hit as a starter 2 nights ago, and then the base hit off the bench. He's also driven a run home and walked in this series. Mercedes-Benz will track strike 2. So 5 over last year and about 2.5 weeks fewer games as far as the home runs go. Right now Danny just wants to put some good at bats together, get things going again. Low and away. Coming into the series on Thursday, he was 4 for 40. So he's been on base a couple of times here.
Twist it up, huh?
Espinosa caught looking. Peavy's 3rd strikeout, 2 down here in the 2nd. If the Nats win and score 7 or more, 50% off for you. Regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com. Enter promo code NATS50. That's valid at participating DMV Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, official pizza of your Washington Nationals. By the way, there's a new first place team in the American League East. The Blue Jays beat the Orioles just a little while ago. Baltimore's lost 5 in a row. Toronto 59 and 45. And a swing and a miss by Pedro Severino, the catcher. We welcome those of you who saw the Baltimore-Toronto game, and we welcome you to San Francisco. No score, top of the 2nd for the Nats rookie Reynaldo Lopez against 35-year-old Jake Peavy of the Giants. Severino hit .259, couple of homers, 17 RBIs at AAA Syracuse. Wilson Ramos, a much needed day game after a night game off. He's really been grinding. Ryan Zimmerman at first base. He dives back in with 2 outs. And a 1-2. He pulls it. It's going to be a base hit. Even if Nunez would have come up with it, Pedro Severino would have been in there. So for Severino, his second major league hit, he went 1 for 4 in 2 games for the Nats last year.
Yeah, I remember his first big league hit. It was a bullet off the left field wall. And this one, right on the barrel in the 5.5 hole. So now, see if Ronaldo Lopez can help himself out.
Yeah, he was 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts in his big league batting debut 11 days ago. Good job by Severino getting aboard. At the very least, the Nats turned the lineup over here. I think if you can, you want Turner and Revere batting back to back without any outs before them as many times as possible today. And the heater right in there, 0-2 from Jake Peavy. He was 0 for 1 in that debut. Matt Belisle was already in the game by the time the second at bat came around. Swing and a miss. And that's it for the Nationals in the top of the second. They get a couple of knocks, no score, game 3. Beautiful day in San Fran.
Acquiring closer Mark Melancon in a trade with the Pirates, giving up Felipe Rivero and a left-handed pitching prospect Taylor Hearn. Now the Nationals are saying that Mark Melancon will be here tomorrow in San Francisco, so the Nationals will need to make a roster move to add him, but Melancon will be available. An interesting little wrinkle here is that Felipe Rivero was a toss-in along with Jose Lobaton in the trade with the Rays a few years ago, in which the Nationals gave up Nathan Karns. So what the Nationals did here is they took a secondary piece in that trade, and then he became the centerpiece of this deal to get a top closer. So this is another example of Mike Rizzo stockpiling prospects, picking good secondary pieces in deals, and then using them to benefit his club down the road, whether it's actually helping on the field, as Felipe Rivero did for the Nationals over these last couple of years, and then also potentially using those prospects to become centerpieces in other deals. So a nice job by Rizzo and the Nationals' entire scouting department here, guys, of taking Rivero as the counterpiece along with Lobaton, and then using him to get Melancon.
And they are so psyched about that report of yours, Dan. Standing O here.
Yeah.
Well done for the Coons.com sideline report. Of course, it's for Hunter Pence, who's back in the lineup. I mean, this guy inspires everybody in this baseball crazy town. And by the way, over 2 million vehicles sold and counting at Coons. The rookie to Pence, and he takes a strike up in the zone.
He missed 48 games with a strained right hamstring, but went 10 for 24, 2 doubles and 3 homers in his AAA rehab assignment. So,
yeah,
he's ready.
Well, and the Giants, Hunter Pence does so many things according to these signs we see around baseball. 1-1. That's a great pitch off speed. But last year he was beat up too. It wasn't just the Giants, another odd numbered year coming off a World Series. He only played in 52 games. Left wrist tendonitis to strained left oblique. They missed him a lot last year. And then Severino moves him, or rather Severino with Lopez, moving him back off the plate. And the count's 2-2.
I love the way he plays, his approach to the game, his approach to life for that matter. But when I think of Hunter Pence, that home run he hit off Jordan Zimmerman that was over his head in Nats Park to right center field still etched in my mind.
Breaking ball, and he's going to hit it deep. It's off the wall. It got a piece of Jason Worth on the way back, so Jason will pick it up, and Hunter Pence excites the city of San Francisco just like that. Looked like he had a home run for a moment.
He didn't know he was running to second base with his hands to his side saying, is it a home run? He didn't know. And a curveball from Felipe Lopez, and oh, he fell down right there. I didn't see that. I was watching the baseball. He's had those hamstring problems. Gave everybody a scare with that. I think everyone was watching the ball too. Good effort by Jason Worth.
It's an 8-foot left field wall out there.
We didn't know if it was a home run.
Well, here's Brandon Belt. Nats go into a shift. Pretty good looking fastball by Lopez, missing away. Well, he's got some good touch on the off speed early. Nissan will track it.
Pretty good hammer right there.
Yeah. That's 12-6 right there on the clock. Follows it up with the heater at 97 and misses. 2-1.
Good pitch, good take. He wanted to.
Walked in, 2 on, nobody out. Next up, the left-handed hitting second baseman Joe Panik.
So where Pedro Severino is going to come in handy today when stuff starts to get quick out there. When there's runners on, the crowd gets into it. He knows Ronaldo Lopez. He caught him in the minor leagues. You remember Jose Lobaton last time saying, "Hey, I had to see this guy's stuff. I didn't know what he has." So it was kind of a work in progress for his first major league start, but some local knowledge, I guess.
Absolutely. The Giants have been ahead on the scoreboard in this series for an inning and a half. That was last night when they scored a run in the second. Nats came back to tie in the fourth and pretty much took it from there. This is a place where the crowd is a factor. When they get men on base and they're trying to take the lead. That's what the Nats have been able to do, is shut them down in the early parts of ball games to start this series. And he's going to get him on a pop up to center. Revere broke back, now comes in. Runners cannot advance. Big first out.
Oh, I was waiting for a triple play right there, but whatever. Come out
I saw one coming.
Park on Monday, August 22nd for a crab feast on the field presented by Budweiser. Enjoy steamed Maryland blue crab, sides, and All the Budweiser you could drink, Bud Light, soda, water, while watching the Nats take on the Orioles on the video board. That's pretty cool. Tickets start just $60. Visit nationals.com/crabpiece for details. He's going to be there. Do you have to catch your own crab? They just let them go in the outfield? You got to get your own? I think that.
We won't be there, so I don't know.
I think it's a good idea.
Here's Blanco. He might have been expecting first pitch heater and didn't get it. Blanco batting 7th, a good night last night. Drove in their only run. 2 hits, a walk, an RBI, a stolen base. Right now, Reynaldo Lopez really has them guessing in terms of speed of pitches, what he's going to throw. He's been very unpredictable here in the first 2 innings. Got him. Fastball. Maybe set up by the off speed, and that thing was by him. Second strikeout.
That's going up top, a 3-pitch C up and away, and Blanco can't hold up. He said something to Chad Fairchild after. Did he not like strike 2? Maybe just frustrated with himself. That wasn't directed at the umpire.
Jake Peavy is not a bad big league hitter. 5 hits, 3 RBIs this year. That's a strike. 168 career.
Fastball 98. He's getting loose.
Way inside. Somehow Severino got to it and kept those runners where they are.
Somehow this missed Jake Peavy. I don't know how.
Boy, that grazes his jersey, and you have to face Nunez. You got a big problem when the bases loaded.
But it didn't.
1-1 with 2 outs. Second base Hunter Pence led off the inning with a double. Brandon Belt walked. 3-1.
Take it all the way here. Has to be.
Runners will be on the move here. And Jake Peavy reaching to stay alive.
Just a little 98 get me over fastball in the 3-2 count.
In the dirt, and he stayed alive again.
Might have been ball 4. But it wasn't. We'll do it again. Some kind of arm out there for the Nats.
Low, evidently, and the bases are loaded. Quite an at-bat by Jake Peavy. Now the young battery with Mike Maddox paying a visit will have to deal with Nunez.
Nunez hit a fastball last time. Let's see if they decide to tinker around with some off speed here early.
First time around the order, Giants go 2 for 7 with 2 walks. Kind of interesting that Nunez, who did a lot of leading off for Minnesota, his power numbers when they got him the same as Buster Posey's. 12 homers, 47 RBIs. So a leadoff guy with speed and pop. They did start him with a breaking ball that missed. Target in. Been missing by a wide margin on that side of the plate.
Still got 98 in your back pocket. And that was a 2-0 fastball right down the middle, and Nunez was late. It was 98.
Target is on the inner edge. Jammed him. Pop up left side. Severino. He's got it. And the Nats are out of the inning.
Nicely done.
He's got a little fist pump for his battery mate as well. So the kids are all right through the first 2. On to do-ups. For the Nats in the third, it'll be Trey Turner. A base hit, a steal already today. 3 for 6 in the series. He's ripped a couple of bags. He's next.
And look forward to Miller time later in the ballgame. That's brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's check out that last pitch to Eduardo Nunez one more time. So Ronaldo Lopez throws 97-98, and watch him throw this to the inner half of the plate. Do you know how hard it is to get to a 98-mile-an-hour fastball on the inner half of the plate? And the reason the Dodgers were getting to it, well, it was out over the plate, it was up. He wasn't throwing his off speed, but he's established his curveball in the zone. Haven't seen too many changeups. But now you throw 98 on the inner half, and good luck getting to it. That was big-time pitching right there in a big situation.
Trey Turner, top of the third.
I mean, you're on the road, packed house, bases loaded, first place ball club. You make a pitch like that, that was impressive.
You're 22, it's your second big league start. That's going to be at the knees and the outer edge. Turner kind of gave up on it. And it stayed up, and Chad Fairchild called it a strike. Jake Peavy gives you a little audio every time he throws a pitch.
And especially when he misses his spot, he gives you a lot of audio. And you might need a dump button. He is so animated.
Well, part of Nolan Ryan's thing against opposing hitters was he had a very loud grunt when he delivered his fastball, and to hear that and to try to see what was coming used to intimidate a lot of hitters. This guy not in that class, but he's very vocal. Pitch up, and Trey Turner couldn't get to it. So Jake Peavy, 7 outs, 5 strikeouts so far.
Well, you want some Geico highlights? And check out Ben Revere's catch, robbing Buster Posey of extra bases and an RBI. How far Ben went in the sun, in the wind, warning track, fence, everything there. And on top of all that, he gave the ball to a little kid, so that's good too.
Yeah, hit the ball really well first time, lined out. He was trying to pull it to get Turner to third, but a leaping Joe Panik took an RBI hit away. Not only was going to move the runner, probably would have driven him in. We'll talk about this more when Jason Worth comes up, but evidently we were right the first time. The strikeout, according to Stats Inc. on our crew check with them, does not count as an on-base appearance. And Revere lifting one out to right center. Hunter Pence drifting with it. 2 outs.
Post-game Freedom Fireworks at Nats Park, presented by Associated Builders and Contractors. It's a 7:05 start. Nats Braves. Friday, August 12th. Stick around for silent military drill team performance and a fireworks show. Visit nationals.com/tickets today. All right, McCovey Cove, rafts, beverages, kayaks. Mass and Dan in there somewhere?
I don't know. He's more of a beach guy than a cove guy. What a place. Control tower of the Oakland Airport in the distance.
Yeah.
0-1 to Bryce Harper, who hit a fly ball to short left field first time. PV misses with the off speed. 1-1. Giants at home. Speaking of this place, 30-21 on the year. The Nats on the road, 30-22. There's the O.co Coliseum where the A's play.
Not as nice as this ballpark. Let's just put it that way. It's a little bit worse than this, but that's just there.
I hope the A's get a ballpark sometime soon. Two-1. There's a lot of controversy around here. The A's for years have been eyeing the area South Bay area, and the Giants don't want them down there. They consider that their territory. Three and 1. Harper hits one high and well out of play.
So he's getting pitches, but coming out of his stance, he's rising up through the ball and falling toward his dugout. What does that mean? He's cutting across the baseball. So watch his balance. It's going toward his dugout. The pitch is on the other side. So now instead of squaring up the ball like we talk about, he's cutting across it. Almost like a sliced tennis swing.
Oh. We saw some body English there by Chad Fairchild. He didn't stand up and call it a strike, and then Peavy got upset.
Well, that's the way he calls a third strike. He walks away from it. So watch, he starts to step, and you see his right arm kind of start to rip the pages. And he decided maybe that was too low, and a walk for Bryce Harper. So good at bat, he'll take it. Might have caught a break.
His 78th walk of the year. That'll bring in Anthony Rendon. Working him down and away. Peavy struck him out first time. 2 o'clock out here in beautiful San Francisco. Top of the 3rd inning. The Nats are trying to make it 3 in a row over the Giants and 4 in a row on this road trip. A trip that started with a hard to stomach loss in Cleveland. And then it's been hold on to your hat for the next 3 days. The Nats winning all 3 of those.
W's a W. First place is first place.
Absolutely. And a chance today to get back to that 20 games over 500 mark. Fire in that ball over there. Harper 15 out of 21 stealing this year.
He's looking like he has interest.
Mr. Posey about 38% caught stealing this year. A good number with his pitching staff helping it. But the Nats have gone 3 for 3 in this series. That ball hammered to left center. See you later. Anthony Rendon is 13th of the year. And how big is that ball 4 call right now? And Jake Peavy standing about 2/3 of the way to the mound, eyeballing the umpire a bit. A walk and a blast.
Yeah, but the umpire didn't make that last pitch. He took a healthy rip on the first one. He squared 4 balls up last night. Had 4 solid at-bats. Could have had 4 hits. I think he settled for 1 last night. And hits a monster shot to left center field to put his ball club up 2-0. 13th home run of the year and the 16th home run that Jake Peavy's given up.
Here's Jason Worth. Front door strike. You just don't see too many homers in this ballpark out to that part, FP, that are no doubters. And Rendon just did that.
Well, during the day more than at night. You'll see him out there today.
Strike to Worth, 1 and 2.
But you're right, at night, no shot.
.129th, 39th team homer for the Nats. 3 behind St. Louis for the league lead. Outside. And Worth will take a strike. A strike out for the 2nd time today. But the Nats have the lead on a Harper close shave of a walk. And then a Rendon not close of a shave. Home run to left center. Anthony's RBI total over 40 now. 2-0 Washington. History last night kind of leads us into a PNC. Is this that old TV show, That Was the Week That Was? So Stephen Drew saves things on Saturday. San Diego gets a 4-run ninth. And then the Nats, the heartbreaker in Cleveland. Then they bounce back for 3 in a row. Blake Treinen gets that first save. Papelbon, Perez, and Kelly, 3 guys to get 3 outs. And last night, the Zimmerman-Rendon 3-5 triple play.
Yeah, baseball's boring.
Next time somebody tells you that, tell them to go watch some videotape highlights.
You know, Ryan could have ran over to third for an unassisted triple play last night. I mean, he could have. You don't think of it, right? Anthony Rendon was jumping up and down, saying, throw me the ball, throw me the ball. But Denard was at home. He could have just jogged across the infield and had an unassisted triple play. And there's only been a handful of those, right, in the history of the game?
And most of the time, they go to a middle infielder on a line drive with the runners moving, where they'll catch it, get the guy off a second, then get the runner approaching from first.
And Denard thought that ball skipped into Ryan's glove. That's why he just kept going home. Either way, it was super cool.
One pitch, off speed, and he had Angel Pagan out ahead. Reynaldo Lopez is mixing things up very nicely. And Dano, not often when the battery gets called up to work together at the highest level.
Worked out this time, Bob. Caught up with Pedro Severino earlier today. He wasn't behind the plate for Reynaldo's last start, a complete game shutout at Syracuse, but he was there. Said Lopez was fantastic. He also has caught Lopez 2 times this season. Said the key for the right-hander is locating the fastball down. Don't just throw the fastball in there. Throw it with the purpose. He said he did a great job of it that last outing and did it to get Nunez for the final out last inning as well.
Gillespie goes up swinging and fouls it.
He's just so over the top that he gets true sink on his fastball. You know, if you're a 3/4 guy, you get run on it. But he gets true sink. And he's been doing a nice job of keeping it down. But I really like when he goes into hitters, like we just showed you, Eduardo Nunez. That's so hard to get to when it's upper 90s.
There's another off-speed pitch getting a pop-up. Espinosa out. Revere's going to be right behind him. 2 down on a couple of fly balls. Next is Buster Posey.
They got the kids announcing the names, and they had him on the big screen, and he couldn't get Buster Posey out. He had to try like 3 times. So hold on, let me try that again.
I thought maybe he said it was Hunter Pence's friend, Buster Posey.
I think he was trying to say that and couldn't get it out.
Posey absolutely robbed of at least a double, maybe a triple, and on that part of the ballpark, who knows, on that drive back in the first inning.
And for those of you that don't know, Buster Posey hit a home run this year, and John Miller, the Ford C. Frick award-winning announcer for the Giants, said, and Hunter Pence, his good friend Buster Posey with a home run, and didn't even balk.
One of the great adjustments of all time in the booth.
And Hunter Pence's good friend Buster Posey with a home run. And it just went viral.
Close. 3-2. Pence is on deck. You'd rather face him leading off the 4th. Let's see what Ronaldo's got here. He's going to miss. He went off speed and walked him with 2 outs. 3rd walk. He rocked a double off the wall and left, leading off the second. Never made it beyond second base. And that one slams off the gear of Pedro Severino.
Well, Hunter Pence knows he had a curveball first time up for a double. He was sitting dead red ambush mode all the way right there. I didn't see too many changeups from Ronaldo today. I don't think of how many.
That's a beauty that dropped in there.
Kind of a backup curveball.
And he goes with the gas and misses inside.
That's a good 0-2 pitch. Move his feet. 98. That'll open some things up on the other side, or maybe something slow.
Two 2-0 Nats, bottom of the third. Posey at first, 2 down. Severino setting up away. And Pence hits it hard, guides it to short, and it's Espinosa to Turner. So far, so good. A rough major league debut appears to have given him years of experience. Baseball brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid. All-wheel drive and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com today. Bay Bridge over to Treasure Island, then a slight right turn into Oakland. It's a gorgeous day here. City by the bay. More watercraft seem to be showing up as the afternoon goes on.
Follow the Nationals wherever we go with MLB.com at bat. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, and StatCast. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app in Major League Baseball.
Ryan Zimmerman, first time up, dropped one into right field beyond the reach of Joe Panik. But Hunter Pence was there to pick it up and throw out Jason Work at second on almost an impossible base running play. So 0 for 1 with the fielder's choice. He got a breaking ball sitting there and hit it hard. Right now Zimmerman thinking about 2 until Blanco stops him, and he will. Ryan Zimmerman's taken some good swings in this series. He's now 3 for 8.
Hey, working on keeping that head still, doing a nice job of staying back and driving the ball. If your head goes forward, you can't hit that curveball, but watch how still Ryan's head is. Sees it big, drives it in the gap. Nice at bat.
Nats have their leadoff man on for the 3rd time. Here's Danny Espinosa. And he'll drive one to left center. High in the air to the 382 mark. Off the wall. Zimmerman right now to 3rd. Bob Henley's going to send him. They missed the first cutoff man. They hit the second one, and Zimmerman scores. 3-0 Washington.
A great at bat by Danny Espinosa. Ball flying to left center field here today, but he squares one up, lets one get deep, and drives it to left center field and stays through the baseball. Nice, great read. I feel like I say it every day when he's on base, by Ryan Zimmerman. And Bob Henley taking a huge chance with nobody out, maybe because the bottom of the order's coming up, where you normally wouldn't send a guy with nobody out and the ball coming in, but Bob decided to take a chance. It worked. 3-0 Nats. How about that?
Severino base hit first time. Now Pedro hunting his first big league RBI. That was number 53 for Espinosa, by the way. And Danny's bat has come alive here in San Fran.
I mean, if you hit the cutoff man there, Ryan's out by 20 feet. Missed the cutoff man, got an extra couple of steps while Joe Panik fielded the ball.
And Severino with a high fly ball to right. Tagging is Espinosa. Pence up with it. Throw was going offline, so Nunez cut it off. And Danny Espinosa gets to 3rd with 1 out.
Well, normally a productive out with the pitcher coming up. We'll see how it plays out. Pretty good swing by Severino. And Bruce Bochy's bringing his infield in.
Well, runs hard to come by for his offense lately.
And I don't know how Ronaldo bunts, so a safety squeeze, we'll see.
He's going to bunt it straight down and backwards.
Boy, if he bunts it to second hard, it's a base hit. You know why? Look how hard Brandon Belt is charging. I mean, he's right on top of him. If you bunt it by Belt, we saw that the other day with Raj Davis.
Yeah, Ronaldo has some catching in his history, so he's been a regulation hitter. Been a while.
I like the bunt here, and let Danny Espinosa do the rest. If it's a bad bunt, go back to 3rd. If it's a good bunt, score.
Not bunting there, and he can't make contact. 0-2. Nats have 6 hits now in fewer than 4 innings of full hitting. Five hits. I was a little too eager to give Zimmerman a hit on that bloop back in the 2nd.
Well, maybe you'll be right here in a pitch.
1-2. Swing and a miss. 7 Ks for Jake Peavy. 2 times through the order now. Trey Turner.
This is where a bunt's a good play.
Yeah, they'll be back, won't they?
Yeah. I mean, what's back with Trey Turner? Not 2 feet from him? Because that's where you need to be to take away a bunt.
Yeah. Gillespie hanging around the baseline over at 3rd.
That's too deep for me.
And Belt is deeper on the other side. Turner a swing and a tip on a pitch up. Peavy struck him out last time on a ball maybe around the top of the curly W there. That one on the other side of the plate. Nats have Peavy on the verge of 70 pitches here in the 4th inning. Turner's driven in 7 runs. Close. 2-2.
Close to swinging. Ball was in the dirt, but he's thinking the other way. Good take.
Now it goes to 3-2.
How bad do you want to see one in Triples Alley here with Trea Turner?
I don't know if he hits one out there. They might have to rename it.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want to see it.
From 0-2 to a full count here. On a low heater. Trea will stay alive.
Well, if you walk him, it's second and third, 2 outs. Because he'll be on second in a few pitches. And Jake Peavy knows that, and he's trying to throw a strike.
Well, the Giants bullpen comes to life. Matt Reynolds getting ready. Three-two again. And Turner with a high fly ball to left for Pagan. That's it for the Nats in the 4th, but Danny Espinosa drives in Ryan Zimmerman, and it's 3-0 Washington. Nationals Park. Join the Alliance. Star Wars Day, Saturday, August 13th. Celebrate the most popular movie series of all time with this fun-filled evening. Nats Braves 7:05. So visit nationals.com/Star Wars Day, and may the force be with you. Bottom of the fourth, Belt, Panic, and Blanco against Reynaldo Lopez, who's showing some big-time, big league poise right here.
You see the confidence growing in his first start after he got dinged up a little bit early. He came off the field to a standing ovation after 4 2/3 in his major league debut. Nats fans were digging what they saw, and we're digging it here today.
So he went off speed and just missed away. Brandon Belt in the series, 1 for 7, 2 walks. One of those today. Ball 2.
And maybe when Joe Ross comes back, you add this arm to the bullpen.
He has walked 3 Giants already. They've been unable to take advantage of it. Way outside. When you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. As we check in on Pedro Severino, back in the big leagues, 23-year-old. So this season with Syracuse, as we mentioned earlier, .259. Fielding percentage good, caught stealing, 14 base runners. It's all brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Right now, Reynaldo just leaving the ball outside to these lefties. Panic, a fly ball to center first time. Giants are averaging 41,630. Which is really all their ballpark allows. The place seats under 42,000. Last night they had their 459th consecutive sellout. Only the Dodgers and Cardinals average more, but they have bigger ballparks. Much bigger.
.459 sellouts.
I think I remember when they opened at that time, Pac Bell Park in 2000. They said they'd have to sell out every game for 20 years for the ballpark to pay for itself. Well, they're only a couple of years away now. I mean, it's not cheap real estate around here, and that was a thing here in San Fran. It was tough to get any kind of public money to build the ballpark. And boy, what a gem they did.
In the first game here, they thought it was going to be a launching pad. Kevin Elster hit 3 home runs for the Dodgers on opening day in this ballpark, and they said, oh my goodness, what kind of monster did we create? Thought it was Coors Field for a second, and then they find out that it gets cold and windy here at night. The ball doesn't travel, and it plays really fair.
Two and two. That ball's trouble. Short right center. Bryce Harper put his glove up to try to deke Brandon Belt into thinking it was a possible catch. And now the Giants have 2 men aboard in the 4th inning. They're not hitting him hardly at all, but the walks have created some opportunities for San Fran. Number 8 hitter Gregor Blanco is next.
Got to be a pinch hitting situation for Bruce Bochy. No?
Could change. He's already had a pitcher up and throwing, Matt Reynolds.
There he goes.
Who's about to go out there again.
I mean, you almost have to put your reliever out there so Blanco gets something to hit. When you don't have a reliever throwing, then be a little more careful here with number 8.
Inside on the breaking ball.
Still got to get some outs.
Nothing Nationals, but a young pitcher struggling with command. And then Blanco couldn't stop.
Well, that's a thank you very much. Strike 1. Gregor Blanco in hit mode, a 2-0 count. He's swinging with the count, not the pitch. That was ball 3.
Well, the breeze has shifted around here. Some of the flags now blowing hard toward left and left center, pretty much straight out when the game started. There's Lucille hanging out
with 3 rings. Mascots get rings.
2-1 pitch.
Got to locate a 3-1 fastball here, right? You can't just throw it down the middle.
Big pitch. Swing.
Good pitch.
By Blanco, who's hit 1 home run this year. 21 in his 8-year big league career. There's Mercedes-Benz with the at-bat. Foul ball.
'73 pitches, 40 strikes, 33 balls.
Another 3-2 with nobody out.
It's ready for the triple play.
Be pretty happy with a ground ball for 2 right here.
Single play would be good.
Got him on a curveball that dropped in. Surprise, surprise, surprise. 1 out.
That's advanced stuff right here. I mean, look at the buckshot pitch track, and then he drops a 3-2 curveball in there for strike 3 to get Gregor Blanco. I mean, that's advanced stuff. impressive first out, and that's your single play.
Well, they're going to call Peavy back and bat Mac Williamson for him here in the 4th inning. Peavy 74 pitches, 48 strikes. Williamson started the game on Thursday batting 7th and went 0 for 3 with a walk, as the veteran pitching coach and the young battery chat about it. Wow, a long bullpen day coming for the Giants.
I mean, this is what you do when you're 22 years old. You throw 98. You throw a lot of pitches. I mean, you saw Pedro Martinez when he was with the Dodgers. He didn't know where it was going for a long time. But he got outs. He had electric stuff and reeled it in. So, I mean, yeah, the pitch count's going to be high with Ronaldo when he starts games. You'd think, right? Until he gets all 3 of those things and starts getting better command and learning hitters, all that stuff. Right now, he's just a pitcher with really good stuff that's learning how to pitch at this level in its early stages. But I mean, the sky's the limit for this guy. And once again, I said against the Dodgers, it doesn't really matter the numbers right now. Just look at the stuff.
Yeah, learning something new with every inning he goes out there and every batter he faces.
I mean, he might just manhandle minor leaguers. Because here's my 98. Good luck.
Williamson 4 for 9 as a pinch batter for the Giants.
Pretty good change.
2-1.
I thought this was a strike. What does pitch track think?
Wow. 97 unreachable. Now it's even 2-2. Spins that breaking ball and gets a foul tip. Does Williamson.
Staying down. Now he's got to make a pitch.
Walked him and the bases are loaded again. So we'll see if Dusty gets the Nats bullpen up and working. That's his 5th walk of the day. He's only given up 3 hits. Top of the order, Eduardo Nunez. Great speed, but he does hit from the right side of the plate, so a one-hopper at somebody. The Nats could take a shot at number 98 to end the inning.
Well, he got Nunez with a fastball in last time, and as a hitter, if you get jammed one time, you look in there the next time. You cheat in there, start your swing early and try to pull it. And they're going in there. And they still can't get to it.
That thing had some run on it.
Going a little too fast right now. He's speeding up his delivery. You can tell he's amped up.
Third base Brandon Belt led off the inning with a walk, and then Joe Panik dropped a base hit to right center after Blanco was called on strikes. Williamson, the pinch hitter, walked on a full count. Don't want this to go to 3-1. And that ball is drilled to right center. 2 runs are going to score. Revere gets it back in. They'll hold Williamson at third, and the Giants have 2 runs.
Giants been dying for that big hit with runners in scoring position. Hitting just 163 with runners in scoring position after the break. Eduardo Nunez comes up big to make this a 1-run ball game. So he tried to get it in there and left it out over the plate. We showed you Nunez having trouble getting to that high 90s fastball in the inner half. That's where Pedro Severino set up. They wanted it in there again. It leaked out over the plate. And Nunez got extended and slapped a double into right center field. Lopez still in trouble.
Yeah, they had to make that trade to get that big hit. Nunez, brand new to the ball club, provided it. Here's Pagan with the tying run at third base, still only 1 out. He's hit the ball in the air twice. Yusmeiro Petit, and the Giants and their fans know all about him after what he did for this club here.
88th pitch coming.
Pulled. Zimmerman to the bag. That's an RBI, and the game is tied as Williamson dives home. Other runner, Nunez to third. So Connor Gillespie with 2 outs, trying to give them the lead. He has struck out, hit a pop-up today. Giants have now added right-hander Albert Suarez to their bullpen. So the breaking ball gets a foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I'm checking, and the last time Yusmeiro Petit has thrown was July 7th. Is that right? Haven't seen him in a while.
Swing and a miss on a big curve. We're going to the 5th, and now the Giants have equalized thanks to those walks.
get to the good stuff. 3-3. We'll start this one all over again. But Anthony Rendon, who had 4 good at-bats last night, kind of continuing his success here today with a 2-run homer that got the Nats on the board in the 3rd inning, his 13th of the year, and his 40th and 41st RBI.
Left-hander Matt Reynolds for the Giants appeared in the ball game last night. 7th inning, pitched 2/3. He walked Harper in between retiring Revere and Trey Turner. Just called up on Thursday. Ben Rivera line drive to second, fly ball to right. 0 for 2.
Yeah, Reynolds mostly fastball slider, but he has a cutter, a curveball, a change, and a split. So 6-pitch guy.
Up the middle, and that's a base hit for Ben Rivera. 2nd of the series. 3rd time he's been on base against the Giants. The Nats had a leadoff single up the middle from Zimmerman last time and brought him home. So they've had leadoff men aboard. One was via a strikeout. 4 of the 5 innings. Next up, Bryce Harper. Now right-hander Hunter Strickland has replaced Suarez. And a high strike to Bryce. Walk last time on that close pitch. And then Anthony Rendon hit one out of the ballpark for a 2-0 lead.
I mean, I know everybody at home is thinking the same thing. When is he going to break out of this? And how much fun is it going to be to see it? And you're thinking this is the at bat, right? Every time he walks up, you're like, all right, this is the one. This is where he locks in. At least that's how I think. Every time he walks up, all right, you're always 1 hit away from a slump ending and 1 hit away from a slump starting, really, or 1 at bat away, bad at bat away.
Yeah, I think a lot of us thought it might start with that prodigious homer in DC. Or the opposite field swing here for a double the other night. Bryce pulling off that one big time, and that's the first out here in the 5th inning.
He's just not making a commitment to go to left field. Everything's to first base. You see him, his front shoulder, hips flying, and the pitch on the other side. I'm telling you, as a hitter, you get in these ruts, you know what you have to do, you practice it all day, and then applying it in the game, it just goes back to what you've been doing for a month. You get into bad habits, they're hard to break.
Well, a lot of managers lately go situational as early as the 4th to the 5th innings, and that's what Bruce Bochy is going to do right here. Here at the ballpark, folks under the upper deck here, and their view from the third base side. Here's Hunter Strickland, 27-year-old right-hander, 48th appearance for the Giants, 3.08 the ERA, 37 Ks in 38 innings.
A good fastball. He throws it 72% of the time, 96 miles an hour. Slider change. Secondary pitches. Slider's 84.
Well, maybe after what Bruce Bochy saw last time up, he didn't want a left-hander throwing to Rendon, who hit one a mile to left center. Anthony 1 for 2, and in the series 4 for 10, 3 RBIs. On the move, Revere out. Lately it seems like the only way they throw out the Nats is with a throw tailing to the right side, and they get him on the back on their way to the bag.
He jammed his fingers. Going in the bag. And are they looking at it again? That was close. Is it his left hand on the foot of Eduardo Nunez? Pretty good throw by Buster Posey.
Two outs now. 1-1 to Rendon. Strickland faced one batter last night. Got Wilson Ramos on a ground ball.
And DC Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Health System for every home run a Nats player hits this season. So keep them coming. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Trainer Paul Lessard alongside there. And the count stays 1-2 on the Rendon foul ball. That's a good take on a tight slider. Just ended out outside at the last moment. And Rendon, a high fly ball coming down near the line, and an interesting play had to be made, and a good play by Nunez. He's a brand new guy here trying to get used to this ballpark. Giants to the bottom of the fifth. Rail Works brings up the San Francisco due-up, bottom five. So Buster Posey, he's one guy that's been swinging the bat pretty consistently well for the Giants. Came into this series .333 his last 36 games. Hunter Pence is back. That's a big boost for this offense. And Brandon Belt, a guy who hits a lot of doubles, draws some walks, and gets on base quite a bit. And here's Yusmeiro Petit, who was with the Giants 2012, 13, 14, and 15.
Yeah, the guy jumping in the box knows a little bit about his arsenal. Fastball, slider, curveball change. Fastball 88 miles an hour on average.
As they face each other for the first time. First 2 years with the Giants, only 9 games, 8 starts, battling back from injury, but then he got real busy for the next 3 years after that. Long way for Espinoza, makes the exchange. Buster Posey safe. Ball just hit too slowly.
We don't see that too often. Buster Posey with an infield single. But he hit it just right. Espinoza was playing him at deep short to try to increase his range. The ball just tapped by the mound. And once it gets by Yusmeiro Petit, you had a feeling it was going to be a base hit. Danny Espinoza did all he could. Buster Posey smelling the knock. And that's as fast as he can go.
Hunter Pence 1 for 2 with a double. That's the first ball he hits the other way. Wheeling and firing for the force out is Turner to Espinoza, 4-6. Brandon Belt, 2 walks, a run scored. To his right, a scramble by Severino. Beautiful ballpark, AT&T in San Francisco. Been open since the year 2000. Giants sell out every day. But the Nats have won the first 2 games of the series. Bonus coverage on Masson after the Orioles dropped 1 to Toronto earlier. And a 2-0 to Brandon Belt. 3-0.
Brandon Belt didn't need to bring his bat today.
Yeah, in those 3 walks, he's seen, what, maybe 2 or 3 strikes the whole time? 6th walk issued by the Nats today. Next up is Joe Panik. That was the first time Belt had faced Petit. And the same coming up here. When you look at the base runners, each ball club has had a chance to score more than 3 runs. The Nats and the Giants stranding 6 runners each through 4. Nats with base hits, Giants with walks. Great matchup of managers in the series, too. Into left. Worth coming on, makes the catch, and not sure what Hunter Pence was doing. He is easily doubled off second base.
Just a lousy double play. That was boring.
Well, there's one out, so it works. Wait till there's nobody out, and then we'll need 3.
Well, he thought that was dropping and made a base running error. The Giants have made a lot of base running errors in the 3 games we've seen them.
And often teams struggling to score will do just that. So due up, Jason Worth on our Michelin feature. Coming up in the top of the 6th, still looking to get on today.
By Jason Worth, and Hunter Pence thought it was going to drop. I think that's what he was betting on. His first game back in 48 games, maybe a little too amped up. Jason Worth peeked, saw Pence at third, and just said, I got plenty of time. I'll throw one hopper in there. Let's see what Hunter did. Whoops.
Worth leads off, top of the 6th. 0 for 1 career against the right-hander Hunter Strickland.
They were definitely leading the league in hunters in this game today.
It's a pretty easy looking 97 to the outside edge. Ball explodes out of this guy's hand. Strickland originally drafted by the Red Sox out of Pike County High School, Zebulon, Georgia. And then that's box scores. He operates against Worth here in the 6th. The big blow, the 2-run homer by Anthony Rendon after a Harper walk in the 3rd. And then Danny Espinosa went opposite field, left center off the wall to drive in Ryan Zimmerman 4th inning. Zim had singled to lead off the frame. Here's the 0-2 to Worth. Fastball right by him. Zimmerman and Espinosa now, the next 2. Giants got this strong right arm from the Pirates on waivers 3 years ago. Strickland's been a pretty good workhorse for them. 48 game this year, 55 last year. So this batter and the next, 2 key guys whose bats have started to make some noise in this series. Wow.
That was way out there. I don't care who you are. That's tough to hit at 98. I'm the black.
So Nissan tracking everything away here. Posey, why not move out there? Then he missed his spot, jamming Zimmerman. Joe Panik under this one. That Breeze moving the ball around. He made a last-second adjustment. 2 outs here in the 6th. Our next 5 will take us into the homestand next week when the Giants are in D.C. So tomorrow it's Gio Gonzalez and Matt Cain for the Giants. Gio 6-8. Cain is 2-6. 3 in Arizona. The off day Thursday, and then the homestand commences next Friday night. Giants, Indians, Braves on the next homestand.
We have a day game after a night game. Get in that clubhouse, you start pounding coffee, start pounding Red Bulls. You come out, you're ready to run through a brick wall. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of that day game, you feel the night game, and you have that lull. I think that's what we're experiencing right now.
Okay.
What do? You reload. Go back, get some more coffee, get some more Red Bull, and crank that engine back up. But right about now is when you start feeling that night game. There's a coffee.
One to Espinosa, 2 outs. He'll pull it over to Brandon Belt. And now the Nats offense quieting a bit. We're in the middle of the 6th inning in the game. The game 3 of the 4-game series, and it's all tied up. T-Mobile. Melvin Upton Jr. is now a Toronto Blue Jay. So not off to a great start, but the Blue Jays are now in first place in the AL East. Rick Porcello of Boston. Well, how about that from one season to another? 5 more wins, 13 fewer losses, and a long way to go. And the Rockies are hot. They've won 4 straight. They're 1 game under 500, and they're the best in baseball with 11 out of 15 since the All-Star break. There's still 8 games, though, behind the Giants.
Who's on deck for the Giants?
Yeah, they got a short bench. They've already used 1 guy, so Bumgarner will hit after Gregor Blanco. Why not? So Bruce Bochy gets 5 outs from Hunter Strickland. And Petit faces Blanco, who's 1 for 2 career against him. up the middle.
So Bumgarner goes back to the dugout, and Denard Span comes up, and you think that he's bunting.
Isn't that something? A position player instead of a pitcher because you're bunting.
Right. Let's see if he does. Maybe just with the guy out, Bochy wants Span in the ball game versus going for the long ball with Madison Bumgarner.
Denard in the series 2 for 8 with a walk. And the now well-known base running play last night when he was the man caught between third and home on the triple play.
Yeah, you could read his lips when he's coming off the field. He said, "I thought the ball hit the ground." You know, there was a time when I thanked Denard Span for all of his services here in DC. You know, we thought he was leaving last year, gave him a big hug, said thanks. I should have done that today because he helped us see our first ever triple play last night.
Well, maybe only an ex-player could go to a current player and bring that up. I would not venture there myself.
Hey, thanks. If you didn't think that ball hit the ground.
Span does square around, takes the ball low. Batting average good, on base percentage good, extra base hits, stealing, the runs, but along with that, a whole bunch of things hidden that aren't necessarily stats about playing center field, clean routes, taking away extra base hits, keeping guys to singles instead of doubles. You name it, he did it defensively.
The hitting streak. The bobblehead. That was one of the better bobbleheads, by the way.
He's going to lay one down. There's a play at second, and that is quite a throw by Severino down to Danny Espinosa. 2-6 on a failed sacrifice.
And you remember that about Denard Span. He's a much better base hit bunter than he is a sacrifice bunter. And there was a time when they just told him to go ahead and base hit bunt in these situations. Squared around early, didn't get it out there, and a nice play by Pedro Severino to get the lead runner, Blanco.
Giants box score excluding Denard Span. The big hit, the Nunez 2-run double, 4th inning, and then the Pagan ground ball. After all the walks, 5 of them in 4 innings by Reynaldo Lopez. Here's Nunez again. He's 2 for 3 today in his first start as a Giant. Been around for a while, 28 years of age. Broke in with the Yankees in 2010. He had signed at the age of 17 with them. Was in New York, part-time duty for 4 years, then on to the Twins.
Remember, Denard had that stumble over first base last night. I watched him run down to first on that bunt. He wasn't getting around too easy. And the reason I say that is I don't think he's a threat to steal here, but you still got to be on your toes.
Quite a breaking ball by Yusmeiro.
And Jeff Samardzija is going to run for him, so that tells you all you need to know. If you're sitting in the stands right now and you didn't see Denard Span tumble over first last night, you're thinking, what in the world is going on? Denard Span can fly, and now Jeff Samardzija is running for him. Jeff Samardzija can run him.
He's a good athlete. He ran some pretty good routes at Notre Dame, didn't he? Nothing you can do when the guy strikes out behind you. So Petit goes after Nunez, 2 outs.
Yeah, that stat I was looking for, Carp, is Yusmeiro Petit has an inning and a third since July 7th. So he has 1 appearance in the middle, and you're wondering if he's going to be rusty out there. But that's one way to look at. Fresh is the other way.
Yeah. Right-hander Derek Law. It's interesting, guys who fill the role that Petit does. And maybe a guy like Matt Belisle over his career, those long guys, the middle guys. Based on how ball games go, they can go long stretches without getting in. Remember, we talked about all the tight games the Nats have played lately. Really no blowouts one way or another, and those lopsided games, often the scenario under which those guys pitch. Looking okay right here, trying to complete his 2nd inning of work. Pagan will lunge and hit one in the air. Bryce Harper, right center. That's it. So Yusmeiro Petit, 2 very good innings. Couple of zeros on the board. On to the 7th. Interesting ball game through 6. Lots of different things happening. Right now, a battle of the bullpens, and Derek Law will be the 4th Giants pitcher. He pitched the 8th inning last night, struck out a couple of guys. He got Worth and Robinson and Rendon. So the rookie in his 40th appearance, 2.37 ERA, 39 Ks, 38 innings. Two solid innings by Yusmeiro Petit. He's due to bat 2nd, and the Nats have a pinch hitter lined up. So Yusmeiro Petit for now in the on-deck circle. And he's a guy who can pitch 4 innings for you. He can pitch the rest of the game. You never know. A bullpen saver he is. Severino, a base hit to left, fly ball to right.
That's a good slider. Throws it 23% of the time at 85 miles an hour. Curveball changed to go with his fastball, but slider's his best pitch. That's a quick one.
25-year-old right-hander out of Pittsburgh, PA. 9th rounder by the Giants in 2011.
Spoil a tough one, get another one.
Goes the other way with it. Joe Panik. Short throw. First out, 7th inning.
Yeah, Law just went Johnny Cueto quick pitch right there.
Yusmeiro Petit, 1 for 5 this year, because he comes into ball games and sometimes pitches long stretches. He's had 117 big league at bats with 6 hits, 3 RBIs.
So I'm doing what the players are doing. Reloading. Haven't got a coffee. We're good.
One ball, 2 strikes on that miss.
Go.
Yeah, he's not giving the at bat away, just battling here. A little pressure on the pitcher to throw a strike, and it was a fastball away. 2 outs. Here's Dan.
Bob, Trey Turner stepping in after his first inning steal, now 32 of 34 in stolen base attempts this season, including his time in the minors. He told me earlier today that his biggest thing when it comes to his base running ability, other than his speed, is confidence. He said it's like anything else. You have confidence in your base running ability, you're relaxed, it puts you in a good position. He said Davey Lopes has been big for him in that regard as well this year. Davey actually gets mad at Trey when he doesn't try and steal bases. He likes that.
Yeah, Davey told me in Cleveland the other day he wants him to be aggressive. He acknowledges a mistake or two might be made along the way, but you just want to let the talents of this young man take over. And that's Dan with our Coons.com sideline report. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting. There he is, former Virginia Cavalier Javier Lopez. He's been steady out here for a long time in that Giants bullpen. The inning continues. Rivera next, then Harper. Giants have had Trey Turner taking some one-handed swings today, keeping the ball away. But having a good series. He's 3 for 8, a walk, an RBI, 2 swipes of second base. And he hits that one hard. Base hit off the glove of Joe Panik. Trey Turner staying on the ball nicely.
When you watch him between pitches, he was tapping his front shoulder to keep it closed. He flew open on the previous swing, and he did just that. So a nice adjustment by Trey Turner going the other way, keeping that front side closed and driving the ball to right. Good try by Joe Panik, and now the fun begins, right?
Yeah. So obviously Lopez getting up for Harper, who's on deck as Revere faces Law. Turner is 7 for 7, including 1 today. Holding on the first one, up and away to Ben Revere.
Slide step.
Who's 1 for 3.
keeps that delivery, he's not going to give Trey Turner a chance. That was quick. Can't run on that.
Yeah.
But he's rushing it up there so quick. He's 2-0.
That's always the issue, right? Do you lose command when you hurry up your delivery? Three ball game. Looked like a pretty routine inning for the Giants. That was closer. But you get a guy like Turner on base, even with 2 outs, it changes a lot of things.
Well, their bench coach, Ron Wotus, is going down to look at the phone right now. Is it worth looking at? Like he got in there.
Yeah, their pitcher, foot back on the rubber. Still 2-0. Turner holding, and a ball up in the zone to Ben Revere.
Ben Revere's not tall, and that looked up.
Yeah.
And it was.
He's listed at 5'9", and that might be with spikes on. 2-1 with 2 outs.
I think if Turner goes right now, he's running into an out. Derek Law's too fast to home. He's 1.0. I just timed him.
Wow, that is fast.
So if Buster Posey's a 2.0, that's 3 seconds that Trey Turner has to steal second, and the best base runners are 3.2. Unless there's a bobble or something. Just doesn't make sense.
Strike 2. Top of the 7th. Bryce Harper waiting. That's why Lopez is ready.
Little lean going there. Maybe a curveball in the dirt, I guess. Could be a way to steal second right here.
Holding again, and Revere to left center. That ball is caught by Pagan. Enough tail on it off the bat of the left-hander to come back to him. Now Ben Revere's hit into some rough luck today. Nice running catch by a very good outfielder, Angel Pagan. 7th inning stretch. The Nats have stranded 7 today. Those kind of ball games. 3-3, bottom of the 7th. Gillespie, Posey, Pence. 3-4-5 for the Giants. Against Yusmeiro Petit. Line drive, and Trey Turner has it to his left. What is he not doing for this team right now?
It helps to be quick on defense too. First step quickness from Trey Turner. Everybody talks about his flatline speed, but he's 0 to 60 in amazing fashion when he's hitting, and on defense too. Ready for the baseball. Nice play.
Next up, Buster Posey. First man to face Petit 2 innings ago. He got that little infield hit in front of Danny Espinosa. Big time breaking ball. Broken off by Yusmeiro.
I gotta believe there's a little, you guys could have kept me in Yusmeiro Petit out there right now with the struggles the Giants bullpen has had this year.
Had signed him as a free agent December 14th. Javier Lopez up. He'll be facing Harper, Rendon, and Worth. We'll see if he faces all three in the 8th inning. And Buster Posey with a high fly foul. Well out of play.
Cool down with $1 ice cream novelties presented by Good Humor on Wednesday, August 10th. Indians in town. Get your tickets today at nationals.com/tickets. Turbo Rocket's good. Strawberry shortcake's better.
This one again over that way. Inside the Numbers brought to you by Jeep. Records of division leaders coming out of the break. So the Nats are okay. Only Toronto and the Cubs better. And that counts Toronto's win over the Orioles today to put them in first place. But the Giants are having a nightmare.
But yeah, you feel real sorry for them with those 3 rings they have in the last 5 years. Just a real tough time here in San Francisco.
Something about those even numbered years. And when they were playing like they were before the All-Star break, everybody said, okay, here comes another one. Posey right side, well placed. Turner pops up, can't get a handle. Buster Posey 2 seeing eye rollers for base hits against Yusmeiro Petit.
I mean, technically that's another infield single for Buster Posey. When's the last time, if ever, he's had 2 infield singles in the same game? Last time up, the tapper to short. This time a well-placed ground ball. The Giants catcher aboard again with another infield single.
Now Sergio Romo is heading for the Giants bullpen, and he might be the guy for Rendon and Worth.
That was an odd shift. Buster Posey hits ground balls that way a lot. There must have been some data that said otherwise.
Hunter Pence 1 for 3 with a double. That adventure on the bases last time, they got him doubled off second base.
And you know what's odd shift, Carp, is you know the pitcher is Yusmeiro Petit. He never goes into anybody. Everything's away and expanded away. So we have a right-handed hitter up there who uses the whole field, and your second baseman's playing up the middle. That's playing against what Yusmeiro's going to do. And maybe there's not a lot of data, obviously, because Yasmero's never pitched against the Giants before. But when you have these shifts, I feel like who's on the mound should dictate where the defense plays versus somebody's spray chart on where they hit the ball. I think you get caught up in, oh, he's a pull hitter, he hits everything this way. Well, if you have a guy throwing the ball off the plate away, he's going to go that way.
Yeah, good call. Shifts based on who the pitcher is as well. Three ball game, bottom of the 7th. That's a good pitch. Outer half with 85.
Everything he throws is going to be away to a right-hander. At least 90%.
Popped up right side. Zimmerman having a look right onto the top of the dugout.
About 10-row ricochet. That was good.
41,743 today. So the sellout streak reaches 460 games.
You know, Ben Revere's playing to left center field. You're seeing Hunter Pence's swings right now. He's trying to shoot the ball to right center. Everything's away. It's hard to go out and pull that pitch. But right center field right now is a danger zone.
Well, we talked about Severino last September and his blocking ability, his athleticism, his energy behind the plate. Good indication right there. Two Nationals looking for a ground ball. Outside.
Everything away.
Big crowd not standing, but making lots of noise here. Runner going, swing, and a foul. As Posey was on the move with one out.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. I thought, you know, they're going to play this straight up. For one reason, it's Hunter Pence's first game back. But I guess if you have a catcher with 2 infield singles on the day, you start him 3-2. Buster Posey's feeling fresh. Right off last night.
Posey running again, and the pitch low. Petit threw it over, but evidently down, and 2 on, 1 out. That's the 7th walk issued by the Nats today.
It's tough to win a big league game with 7 walks. And Nats trying to find a way here.
Second one by Petit. 89 for a strike to Brandon Belt. The first man Petit walked. And Brandon hasn't had to take the bat off the shoulder yet today. Oh, 2.
Dusty using 3 relievers in the 9th the other night. Some relievers last night, mixing and matching. And a tie ball game. If this thing keeps going, he has to get some innings out of Yusmeiro. That's why he's still pitching and the bullpen's not up.
Yeah, third inning of work here.
He's fresh. Got to use him.
It's a little bit up and in. Petit got through his first 2 innings on 19 pitches. He's thrown 21 here in the 7th. Base hit. Bases will be loaded because Posey had to hold up to make sure the line drive went through. Joe Panik is next.
He not only held up, he went back to second, so there was no way he was scoring. He thought Trey Turner's going to make another diving play like he did against Connor Gillespie. Watch Posey go back. And he's like, whoa, I better get going. And now you have bases loaded, 1 out. And Mike Maddox going to take a trip to the mound on how they're going to work Joe Panik, looking for a ground ball at somebody. And they would settle for just a double play today here with the bases loaded. Panik usually a tough out in these situations because he hits the ball the other way so well. He's thinking about a fly ball to Jason Worth.
Base hit in 3 trips today. Almost another hit last time up, but that was that drive on which Worth came in to take a sliding catch into a double play. Panik in this series 1 for 10. Facing Yusmeiro Petit for the 2nd time. High fly ball right center. Harper going back. Easily deep enough for a run. And Bryce will throw it into second base. The Giants take the lead for the first time today. Two runners advancing. Pence ends up at third.
A good at bat, hit it well. That's lucky that was just a sac fly. Bryce had to go a long way for them.
Blake Treinen is up. Oliver Perez had run out to that bullpen first. Number 8 hitter Gregor Blanco. And then their backup catcher Trevor Brown is on deck, who started the ball game last night. Base hit last time for Blanco, who's 1 for 3.
Brandon Crawford jumping into the on-deck circle for the Giants.
The wind is really whipping out to center right now. You can hear it through some of our microphones.
Dusty's going to get him right now.
Yeah, left-handed batter on deck. Maybe not liking this matchup a whole lot. So with a count 1-0. You would think Oliver Perez here. Here he comes. Giants have taken the lead. Telecast is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Well, our crew trying to get to Alcatraz. Still some work to do, as there is for Oliver Perez here in the bottom of the 7th inning. A lefty-lefty matchup with Gregor Blanco, who is 1 for 7 career against him. And now that the Nats have brought in the lefty, Brandon Crawford has vacated the on-deck circle, and Trevor Brown is back there, the right-handed batter.
A 4th appearance in the last 5 days for Oli Perez. And Dusty couldn't play matchups today. He has both of his lefties have been throwing a lot. One of them got traded today, so there's no way you go left on left with Panik. But he figured he's got to stop it right here, right now.
Curveball low. Ball 2.
And Dusty loves having 3 lefties too, so we'll see what happens down there moving forward in that area.
Front door curveball for a strike. Yeah, another roster move will have to be made tomorrow to make room for Mark Melancon. Oliver humping that fastball up to 94 right there.
Yeah, that might be the last one Blanco sees. He was on that.
Important to keep the Giants within a run here with Harper, Rendon, and Worth coming up. Two-two pitch. Curveball was up a bit.
Big pitch coming.
Runners at the corners.
Yes.
Walk number 8 by the Nats today. So Belt goes to second. And the hitter will be their right-handed hitting catcher, Trevor Brown.
Dusty seeing what Bruce Bochy's going to do. And he's got to go get him, right, to go right on right. He's announced. And now he goes and gets his lefty for the righty, Blake Trinan.
So the Nats deeper into their bullpen, trying to keep it 4-3 here in San Francisco. In this case, the Nats are behind in the late innings and trying to keep it 1 run. It's Blake Trinan.
Hey, you know the arsenal. Fastball mid to upper 90s, slider to go with it. And trying to get a big out right here to get his ball club back in the dugout, down by just 1.
Blake faced 1 batter last night in the 8th inning. That was pinch hitter Buster Posey, and he walked him. Fox is here today, so we're standing around waiting for some commercial breaks to end during these pitching changes. So we've got time to set some runners for you. Hunter Pence walked after the Posey infield hit. Brandon Belt a base hit to right after the panic sac fly. Oliver Perez and Gregor Blanco got together, another walk. So here's Trevor Brown. 1 for 4 with a walk in the series so far. Started behind the plate last night. That's trouble if fair. On a broken bat, it's about 10 to 12 feet foul. And that had cleared the bench potential. Fortunately for the Nats, a lot of tail on it. So other than Brandon Crawford, the Giants have used their extra men here.
But remember, Brown last night had trouble with the slider, first from Max Scherzer and then everybody else. To see if Blake Trinan decides to go to that here.
Severino ready for it, sliding to his right.
I mean, with 3, 4, 5 due up for the Nats in the bottom half, or in the top half, I should say, this becomes huge.
The Nats cannot walk a ninth man. It'll put him down by 2.
Like Treinen working for his 4th time in 5 days.
Now the Giants lead 5-3. You really can't walk 5 men in a big league game and expect to win, much less 9 like the Nationals have done today.
A good at bat by Trevor Brown. Those pitches looked like strikes, but he looked like he was taken all the way in a 3-1 count. And once he saw that first slider for a ball, he really wasn't anxious to swing.
Quick visit by Mike Maddox. Trying now against Eduardo Nunez. Well, the Giants haven't had to do a whole lot of hitting with runners in scoring position, but they do have 2 hits today.
It's an aggressive game plan there by Nunez. He thought he might take a strike, but he was thinking putting this one on ice.
In the air to center for Ben Revere. Fighting that sun. Last second adjustment to make the grab. So the Giants pick up 2. Harper, Rendon, and Worth. Top of the 8th coming in San Francisco. brought to you by American Standard Heating and Air. It's their All-Star Sales event with up to $1,100 in instant rebates or 0% APR for 36 months. That's about how long it takes to get down Lombard Street here in San Francisco. The world's most crooked street coming down the hill. 580 Giants, 370 Nats, and the Potomac Nationals will be starting another 4-game homestand at the Fitz next Thursday. Jimmy Buffett night coming. They'll have the intern Summer Olympics opening ceremonies. Can't wait to see that. Pokemon night, a Giolito bobblehead, and a Top Gun 30th anniversary night. Join the party at the Fitz by phone or email or drive in and buy some tickets. Here's Javier Lopez. 46th appearance. He'll face Bryce Harper. 2 for 6 career with a walk and an RBI is Bryce. Against the left-hander, Javier Lopez, originally drafted by the Diamondbacks out of UVA back in '98. Went to high school in Fairfax. Low and away, 2-0.
Okay, you see the release point, drop down sidearm guy, fastball average is 84. He'll cut the fastball at 77. So really those 2 pitches, occasional sliding.
3-0. Probably a 1-batter appearance for Lopez. Rendon, Ward, Zimmerman. The next 3, and Sergio Romo is ready. Bryce in the making.
Yeah, Bryce Harper, starter kid.
And he's not the only one we've seen. That's a 4-pitch walk. You know, Javier Lopez stood around for probably 20 minutes during that inning. So he's going to throw 4 pitches and now head for the dugout. The Nats get a walk. They're second of the day. So the tying run into the batter's box as soon as we come back. He'll have to come back today to have a chance for a sweep behind Gio tomorrow. His last 3 starts, 2-0 with a 2.50 ERA, and he'll be going for his 7th win of the year. Gio, 4.44 ERA. And for the Giants, it'll be Matt Cain, who's 2-6 and 5-5 career against the Nationals. So here we are, top of the 8th. Anthony Rendon, 1 for 3 with a 2-run homer, and he faces Sergio Romo.
Now check it out, lots of sliders from Romo. He's got a slider that's tough to pick up when you talk to hitters. But the Giants have had their bullpen troubles this year big time. They have 18 blown saves. That's the most in the National League and 2nd most in baseball to the Chicago White Sox.
Rendon 0 for 2 career against the 33-year-old right-hander.
I mean, the game plan against Romo is look for something away and hit it that way. Everything's going to start on the outer half and break off, or start on the outer half and stay on the outer half. He rarely comes in, especially in a 2-run game, to a guy that already hit a homer.
Harper running, pitch outside. They got him. Buster Posey has thrown out Revere and Harper today. That hurts, down by 2.
Or did he get a good jump? Decent jump. The look back right there, and they're looking at the replay right now in the dugout. Dusty looking down to Chris Spire. That was close, but I think they got him. Anthony Rendon waiting to get in the box. Don't see that too often, down by 2. Try to make something happen.
1-0 to Rendon. Romo gets one up in the zone, and the count's even. Slider fouled back. Front door on that one. Rendon stays with it. Fair or foul? And it's going to hook before it gets there.
Not today, Rendon, not today.
But just caught it out in front, had some hook to it. And Romo wanted that to the other side of the plate, and it backed up on him, but it definitely had distance. And I don't think he can see anything that he can pull the rest of this at bat.
And this one hit weakly to the right side. Brandon Belt, 2 outs. Worth 0 for 7 against Romo career with a walk and 5 strikeouts. On base streak on the line right here, and the Nats, more importantly, need him on to get the tying run back into the batter's box.
Well, he's got just enough plate coverage to do that extendo out front, throw something in a right center field swing.
Three strikeouts today. One a wild pitch enabled him to get aboard leading off the second. Does not count toward his on base streak. And then Romo's going to start that one out there and bring the fastball back.
Must be a lot of glare out there. I don't remember seeing Jason hit with glasses too often. He wears them on defense, but I don't remember him using them at the plate.
He'll run that one back as well, and it's 2-2.
And here comes a slider. He's going to throw it right where that fastball just was and try to run it off the plate, and then maybe come back to that pitch. 3-2.
Their closer right now, Santiago Casilla.
If it gets there. coming in.
Yeah, still through the slider. Little flare out to center. It's on the ground. And Jason Worth gets the base hit. Extends the on-base streak to 33 games. And with Zimmerman coming in, gives the Nats a breath of life here in the 8th inning.
And the streak is alive and healthy. And there's the extendo swing and the plate coverage we were talking about, and throwing one into right. And now Ryan Zimmerman going to try to tie this thing up.
Zimmerman against Romo, career 0 for 4. Sergio had him on a ground ball last night. That was a frisbee. Ryan Zimmerman, man, you get something up in this breeze, who knows what might happen. Front door on the hook, and it stayed low and in.
Well, I think until 2 strikes, you're looking for a backup slider or cement mixer that you can pull. I mean, when you have the pop that Ryan Zimmerman has, you're thinking left field bleachers until you get to 2 strikes, then up the middle the other way.
Crowd quiet here. 1-2 with 2 outs. Zimmerman in the air. Joe Panik. That's it for the Nationals in the 8th inning. They've stranded 8 today. 5-3 Giants into the bottom of the 8th.
Earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. We talked about Buster Posey with a couple of infield singles here today. Here's the second one in the 7th inning with 1 out. He ended up scoring. And that's only the second time he's done it. The first time was 6 years ago. So everyone doing their homework for us, thank you very much. He has done it before, just a long time ago.
Suppose he scored the go-ahead run. They added another when Pence scored on the bases-loaded walk. Blake Treinen, who issued that walk and then got a fly ball against Eduardo Nunez, will go against Pagan, Gillespie, and Posey. Bottom of the 8th for the Giants. Pagan 0 for 3 career against the Nats right-hander. And the other way for Danny Espinosa. Ball hit sharply. Good arm. 1 out.
Time for Toyota Case for Kids. Washington area Toyota dealers want to help kids and their families by making a $37 donation to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season.
Next up, Connor Gillespie. Treinen comes out pumping strikes here in the 8th inning.
There's a lot of ball game left. It's important to keep it 5-3. Santiago Casillas had his share of difficulties this year too.
He's had 5 blown saves this year. High chopper past the mound. Here comes Turner. Got rid of it. And Zimmerman comes popping off the bag like he often does to help sell that call. And the Giants will probably have a look at this one with Connor Gillespie running, although he's not convinced he was safe. He's running back.
Well, he doesn't know if Ryan Zimmerman's foot was on the bag, does he? I mean, that was a nice play by Trey Turner, and watch Ryan cheat to get the call, and it looked like his foot was on the base. Bang, bang at first. And they're not going to check it. Nice play by Trey Turner.
Always amuses me, FP, on that play. When you watch it live, there's no way he was on the bag.
Right.
And then every time we see the replay, he was on the bag. Ryan's mastered that pretty quickly in his first base days. So Buster Posey, 2 for 3 today, a walk and 2 infield hits. Oh for 6 career against Blake Treinen. Slider fouled off.
You see how Buster took that pitch. He's waiting for that sinker in. Kind of on his heels, ready to turn and burn, and he knew it was going to be a ball, so he took it. But just the way he took it tells you he's looking in.
So Matt Belisle up. And a tapper. I don't think Buster's going to leg that one out. 3 ground balls by Trinan. Here we go. Danny Espinosa, Pedro Severino, and then a pinch hitter. The Nets need 2. Need a rally. Johnny Holiday, we welcome him back to the studio. He's with Ray. Tune into the Nats Extra post-game show. It's presented by W.B. Mason when this one is over. Giants will shore up their defense, bring in their closer, Santiago Casilla, who has converted 10 of his last 11. But FP, as we said, 5 blown saves this year.
Yeah, fastball 94, slider 89, curveball the out pitch of favor at 26%, 80 miles an hour, and the Nats looking for a bloop and a bomb.
Casilla, 36 years of age. Brandon Crawford at short, and that moves Nunez over to third base as they shore up the defense here. Danny Espinosa, 2 for 3 career against the Giants closer.
Maybe thinking about a bunt to second base. Panic is playing a couple of steps shallow.
Yeah, Danny likes to take it with him. Outer half for strike 1. Oh, Clint Robinson, there he is on deck. So he'll hit for Severino, and then there's a guy named Murphy in there who we have been told is available to hit. Everybody's still available. There's Murph getting the helmet.
He's ready. Call him up.
Call him up the steps.
Last time Daniel Murphy pinch hit, he had a home run off the Nats closer.
That's right. We should have our camera standing by when he and Melancon greet each other tomorrow. And now we're teammates. 0-2, and that's way outside. Another one by a wide margin, missing. 2-2.
I'm telling you, there's an uneasy feeling in this ballpark right now from Giants fans.
This one high in the air to left. Angel Pagan. So here comes Clint Robinson.
Daniel Murphy's not hit until he's a tie and run, you'd think.
Correct.
And he can jump in the on-deck circle right here. We'll see if Dusty Baker calls him back and maybe goes with another option, but he's planning on Clint Robinson getting on right here, and so are we.
Well, one pitch, and that's right at Belt. So Murphy is going back. Just knocked the donut off his bat, and it'll be either Defoe to try to get on with his speed, possibly Chris Heisey. Wilson Ramos, another guy you might save until it's a tying run situation, but nobody out yet except, I mean, Ben Revere's still 2 hitters away.
We had to find the Buffalo.
Oh, it is going to be Wilson Ramos. That's interesting. Hey, the way he's been swinging, if he gets on, then you could run Defoe for him.
Can't do that. You got to stay in the game. And he's not the tie and run.
Yeah, that's true, because you just hit for your catcher. You got me. Wilson Ramos against Casilla. 0 for 2 career. And suddenly an inning that started very slowly for Casilla has all kinds of momentum. To the left side, behind it Crawford, who just came in, and the Giants win the ball game, their first of this series, and they beat the Nationals 5-3. So tomorrow the Nats will be trying to win the series. Right now it's the Giants' turn to have a little fun.